Hello. Continuing on from last video, I'm going to explore a JSON in Python, and then I'm going to write a little program using it. So here's a program, and we'll talk more about this program when we get to APIs later this week. But one place where you see JSONs a lot is when you are downloading information and data from the internet. And that's what this program is doing. This program is downloading weather.gov alert data, so dangerous weather condition data, and it's downloading it as a JSON, or more or less, it's downloading it as a JSON. If we actually look at response, what we get does not look like what I've told you a JSON is. What we get is a bunch of metadata, but response does have the data attached to it. We just need to tell Python we want it. Data equals response.json. And if we run this, now this data is a JSON. Again, JSONs, well, I say it's a JSON. Let me take a look at it. And this data is going to be quite chaotic. So I'm using print, pretty print, to try to give it at least a fighting chance of being reasonable, readable. Okay, here is this data. And I mean, you can sort of see here's a weather alert. It's likely, it's specifically a dense fog advisory in Galveston, Texas. So you see this data does contain the weather alerts, but it's hardly, viable to investigate it visually. So let's investigate it in Python. Let's first take a look at the type of the data. It's a dictionary, and that's pretty expected. This JSON method should be giving you either a dictionary or a list. So let's look at the keys of this dictionary. And most of these keys are metadata. Like if we print updated, I want those apostrophes. We get the last time this weather alert data was updated. So that's interesting and potentially important. It's probably not what we're most interested in. We're probably most interested in the weather alerts. And ideally, I would track down the documentation of this API, and I would be looking at READMEs, but I'm just going to do a little trial and error. I mean, where do I think the weather alerts are going to live? Not in updated, not in pagination, not in context, maybe in type. Let's take a look at type. Type is a string, and it's not what we want. What about features? Okay, I mean, since I didn't use pprint, it's super unreadable, but features does seem to contain the information I want. So let's get a little more information about this. Let's see what feature this is. Well, what it is a list, which makes sense, right? There are a bunch of these alerts, and it's each of the alerts is an item in a list. So let's take a look. What am I missing? I'm missing a closed parenthesis. Let's take a look at the first item in the list. And let me, since I've got this library, let me use it to make this more readable. So if we look at this, we could verify it using the type command in Python. The first item in this list is actually a dictionary. So we've got this type key and this geometry key. What we really want are the properties. So here we have an example of a weather alert. And this example, I mean, aside from the fact that it's the first item in the list, there's nothing special about it. We could just as well look at the 17th item in this list. They're all weather alerts. But now that we understand what these weather alerts look like, and we see that these weather alerts include a bunch of geographic data. They, of course, tell you where the weather alert is taking place. Let's try to do something with this. I am currently visiting my dad. I am in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, northern Lycoming County, area code 17701. I'm going to write a little script that looks for weather alerts that are currently active in this area code. And the first thing we unfortunately realize if we scroll down through these weather alerts is that area code is not a key. I can't just look up this area code. But what we do have is affected zones. That looks promising. Let's follow this link and see where we wind up. Okay, so if we look through these, each of these codes represents a geographic area. MT is for Montana, Z is for zone, and then this 304 is an identification code. So MTZ 304 represents Eastern, Tool, and Liberty. So if I can find out what the numerical code is for Northern Lycoming County, I'll be golden. And let me look for that. So I'm not doing anything clever here. In the code, I saw they called these affected zones, and the data came from weather.gov. So I typed in weather.gov affected zones map. And if I scroll down a little, I get to public zone maps. And these are not being updated as of October 2024, but I'm going to assume that it hasn't changed since then. Pennsylvania, Lycoming 041. So let me check that. So here was a website from the weather alert result. Instead of Montana, I'm in Pennsylvania. And instead of zone 3 something, I'm in zone 041. And let's look down. Nope, there we are. I was looking for it, but I didn't see it. Name Northern Lycoming County. So since it said that it hasn't updated in about a year, it's a nice double check. This is still what we want. So now what? Now let me get back to Python. Now we're just going to run a loop, and we're going to look for any entries whose affected zone includes this URL. So we'll loop through features. That's where these weather alerts are stored. We want to know whether this is in, let me remind myself, it was properties affected zone. Forgot my colon. Then let's print features properties. Let's print the actual alert. message description. Features is plural. Okay, and let's run this thing. And it worked absolutely perfectly. I am hearing the sleet against my window as we speak. And you see that we found this active weather alert. So, from one point of view, this is a little far afield. I mean, I said we were going to explore a JSON and then we wrote this program, but it's precisely the structure of the JSON that allowed the program to work. As long as a JSON is well formed with a uniform structure, they're extremely easy to work with and program with, as I hope we have demonstrated here. A very brief program to carry out a very nice practical task. And with that, I will leave you and end this video.